outhouse, though. I'll have to point that out. Burst your bubble right away. It just looks like you're in a more primitive bathroom this time, Murph.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, and we're surrounded by this beautiful bay, and I know the weather is pretty cold back there right now, but every time we try to shot, it washes me out, and it doesn't look good. So we'll try this. Are we going to make it back tomorrow? I understand the weather's pretty bad there. The nice folks who come by and feed our dogs couldn't get the garage door opener to work today because it was so cold.
The cold is not as bad today as it was yesterday. It's coming up a little bit, and that's going to be kind of part of the problem. Is we're supposed to get some more snow here around late afternoon, dinner time, and then the snow is going to change to like freezing rain. Later, as the temperature keeps coming up, it's potentially going to be a mess, and that's not good news because I got another Christmas party to go to tonight, and I don't want to miss it. If I have to walk there and back, I'll do it, but there will be a lot of people out and about.
Oh, boy. Okay, well, we'll hope we get back tomorrow. That is the plan. The Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines open tonight. The Guest House Tavern and Oyster sets the table for sports and more, including Cyclone State, Hawkeye State, Demented State, all coming up on Murph and Andy here on a fun Friday. Right now, high or low since the last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Yeah, we got the year coming to an end, a new year coming just right around the corner, a new administration coming in, of course, to the White House. What effects will that have on your retirement portfolio? It could have a lot, potentially. Wealth Charter has got the answers to your questions. You'll want to give them a call. Put that down at the top of your list in the new year.
It's down. I wrote it down. High or low?
Well, I mean, it's Friday, and I want you guys to just sit here and take this in. You see what this is? Look at this. It's not a drug test.
No.
This is Andrew knows what this is.
Is there a fish in there?
This is a pina colada. That is a clarified pina colada. And you know what else? And there's a giant ice cube in there as well. And I got them both perfectly clear. This is like serious top shelf bartending shit. I mean, this is hard to do. I milk washed the pina colada, filtered it through whole milk curds, made it totally clear, smooths it out, and then I made these perfectly clear ghost ice cubes, those are harder to make than any drink. The perfectly clear ice cubes, but I got it down. Look at that.
Man, you're all draked out too.
It is perfect. Shout out to Josh over at Good News Darling. He is like a genius bartender. I totally copied that stuff off of him. But man, I got it so clear. It's just, man, that's the top of the mountain right there. Oh yeah, and the Drake Bulldogs too.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Jenny, who just returned from the hotel kiosk with this Diet Coke, which is not milk washed and does not have a big ice cube in it. It is cold though. Jenny, what did this run us?
They probably cost more than that pina colada.
How much? Oh, $4.50. That's not even bad compared to that $8 energy
Well, considering
drink.
you don't like Diet Coke, I'd say that's pretty expensive.
I don't. They didn't have Diet Pepsi, I assume. No. Yeah, Diet Coke
look at that,
sucks.
Though. Look at how clear that is.
That's really well done, and that doesn't have all the sugar bombing of a typical frozen pina colada.
No, it doesn't have any of that. It has a little simple syrup in it, so it does have a little bit of sugar. Mostly, it's pineapple juice and coconut water, rum, and allspice dram.
I'm going to go high here on a Friday, too. And for me, it is simply the game watch at Bryce's neighborhood bar. It's called Clem's, and the owner of the bar is good friends with Will Ferrell, so Will Ferrell comes in there from time to time. And, Bryce did a deep dive interview with Will Ferrell at one point. But Bryce got this side room at this neighborhood bar just for the game. So the Iowa State game is on every monitor in there. We've got sound. Bryce's buddies from this neighborhood bar who are really fun and funny and just a pleasure to sit around and talk with. They all came in and we had beers and watched the game. We could see it, we could hear it, and it was just an absolute pleasure. And yes, we are aware now, we weren't at the time, that this Christmas tree in front of my sweatshirt is very phallic in this photo if you were watching on YouTube.
I other than that though, Jenny got this picture perfect. I mean, you're pretending not to notice the camera, just right, and yet Bryce is still staring down the gun barrel, so that looks cool.
You've got zero.
You've got a good looking sweatshirt on, obviously carefully curated sweatshirt.
Sure,
that looks good. The bar is set up. You can see that you guys are doing your due diligence and watching the CyHawk game in the background. It's got it all.
It looks like Scott Van Pelt is in the back watching under the monitor on the left.
Bald, glassed man in the back.
It was just such a good time. And the game tipped off at 4:30 here, and Jenny was asleep in bed by 8:30 local time last night here at the hotel. We walked around everywhere with Bryce. We had a nice day in San Diego, and then got to bed at a reasonable hour, and that's a good day. So that was my
What's
high.
that like on vacation, man?
Going to bed early?
Yeah.
It's different. It's different, but it's what we needed. It was a good idea. And Bryce, who I'm not giving away secrets here, he is in a serious cancer fight, and he gets more tired than he used to. But he is the same guy as ever, and never complains, never says anything. You wouldn't know hanging out with him unless you ask him just how serious it is. And we love Bryce. We're proud of Bryce, and it's just so nice to spend time with him. And it was also a reminder just what a great thing a neighborhood bar is, where you make friends and have a place to go. Like Bryce goes to this place, they have a fantasy football league, they gather for games, and just all different backgrounds and nicknames, and it's just, they're good guys. I know, Andy, you've been fishing with Dodger Nick, some of the Clems crew, and there's just real power in having a neighborhood pub or tavern where you can just hang out. It's all about friendship.
Yeah, it is funny, though. I can look at Bryce's face, and as good a time as he's having with you guys, and as perfect a setup that is for him, if some total stranger walked in off the street right at that point and said, "Hey, Bryce, you want to go fishing?" He would leave you guys in a second. He would leave all of that in a second. I always thought that would be a fun game to play with Bryce. Like, put him in these incredible situations.
Right.
Like, he's on an island surrounded by hot models, and then just some Yahoo shows up in a boat and is like, "Bryce, you want to go fishing?" And then Bryce has to make the decision right there. He's just won $1 bazillion. And they're backing up the Brinks truck into his driveway and giving him the money, and then some guy with a dented canoe pulls up right behind the truck and is like, "Hey man, I'm going to go out and try to get some crappies right now." And then Bryce has to decide what to do, because I honestly think he would abandon anyone and any situation if it meant going fishing.
And he could even hear that they're not biting. Are they biting? No, not really.
It doesn't matter. No,
he
hadn't tried it yet. He hadn't tried it yet. And when he does find a spot where he's catching fish, you cannot get him out of there. I mean, Kong couldn't reach his giant hairy hand down and pull Bryce out of that fishing spot before he's ready to go.
It was just great to hang out there last night. So much fun. Interact with us on YouTube. You can email Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. On X, it's Murph_Andy. It's all powered by the Cellular Advantage, 35 regional locations. Proud partner with U.S. Cellular since 1993. And the Cellular Advantage has kept us in touch here while we're out in San Diego for a few days. Appreciate that. Let's get the buzz on a Friday.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
Logier Heating and Cooling. Anyone who got checked before this cold snap hit there in the metro or
They're
beyond.
feeling smart.
They're feeling smart right now. I know we were those people. We really appreciate it. So the Cyclones win in Iowa City for the first time since 2014, the men's basketball game. It also marks the first time since 2014 that Iowa State has won the men's basketball and football game in the same year. So that's been a decade since that's happened. Those are the two sports generally that the most people care about. Andy, this was a fun, entertaining game. We've had some duds in this series. They've been blowouts, as we established Wednesday here on Murph and Andy, and other people were talking about too. An average margin of victory, it's mostly gone to the home team, and it's mostly been 20 points or so. But this game last night was really entertaining. Fast pace, well played, hot shooting for Iowa early, hot shooting for Iowa State late. And the higher ranked team, the visiting team, the number 3 team, that's the team that has to mount a comeback on the road to win it. So I think if unless you're bitterly disappointed by the outcome, this was a game you enjoyed watching.
Yeah, I mean, I Hawkeye fans aren't happy with it. I mean, their team lost,
No.
but I mean, they did play. I don't know that Iowa's capable of playing. This Iowa team is capable of playing better basketball than they played in the first half. Iowa State didn't play very well, but Iowa had a really good plan and they were shooting really, really well. They just had a really good half of basketball. And the other thing I think I would add is the crowd at that game. I mean, first of all, it was full for a men's basketball game at Carver Hawkeye Arena. But also you could really hear both sets of fans in the stands as you're watching this game. So I imagine it was animated in the stands and there were some words exchanged. It was a true rivalry atmosphere, at least the way it looked from my television. But we heard those reports from Williams and Freund, also guys that were there. But it just looked like a real college basketball atmosphere, a rivalry atmosphere that, I mean, brings us back to the reason that these guys meet in the first place.
You can see there are 5 minutes to go. It's a tie game. You could hear the Cyclone fans at some point. I don't know what the number of fans was, probably, a couple thousand Cyclone fans maybe scattered throughout the crowd. The game was not sold out, which surprised some people, but on Two Guys, I heard
it
Chris
looked
Hassel,
very full. Yeah, it looked full. Well, okay. Other than that picture, Andrew, thanks a lot.
This is from my friend Ryan, he had not been to a game in a long time at Carver Hawkeye. He's a Cyclone fan.
He went to this game too?
Yes, he did. And he was stunned at how many empty seats there were. And I didn't realize until I heard Chris and Chris talking about this on Two Guys that this game doesn't sell out every other year at Carver Hawkeye Arena. I just assumed that it was a sellout, but there were nearly 2,000 seats that weren't sold for this game last night. So some Iowa State fans came in and took those seats, but there were still more than 13,000. And to your main point,
well, I got duped by they do that all the time too. The broadcast crew wants to make the scene look good.
It did sound good, though. You're right. That's your main point,
it sounded
sounded
good.
like a good college atmosphere.
Full, yeah. And I am surprised that more Cyclone fans wouldn't have taken up those seats because that's such a hot ticket. Illinois fans can do that, it seems like. But, yeah, I mean, it was cold. I don't know, the same old list of stupid excuses, I guess.
It was, as you said, a really hot start for the Hawkeyes. They just couldn't miss from three. And Iowa State, for as good as its defensive reputation is and should be, just didn't play really good defense early. Those were some open looks the Hawkeyes were getting, and they were knocking them down. And you wondered, is Iowa State, when will the run hit? Because it's coming, and then it finally does happen. It happens kind of late there. We saw the game was, tied with 5 minutes to go. But Iowa goes 6 minutes or so without making a basket. And Iowa State just has so much depth. Like there's 6 players who average double digits. And they've got the best 6-man, arguably, in the country, in Kurt Jones, who comes off the bench, scores 23 points. And, boy, one of his threes was like Caitlin Clark at Carver Hawkeye range. It was a deep three, and it was at a big moment. So Iowa State tips this in the Cyclones' favor late with turning up the defense, making the shots at a key time. And Taman Lipsey battled through injuries. He's an All-America candidate. And Keyshawn Gilbert, who is Iowa State's best player, I think, this season, didn't score much, but found other ways to help the Cyclones. So nothing changed my mind about this, about these two teams watching this game. I think Iowa State has the highest ceiling of any Cyclone team we've seen. I think this is a legitimate Final Four national championship contender. They play offense. They can score in the 80s and 90s. They play defense. They play hard. They've got depth. They've got front court players. They've got electric guards. They have everything.
They have too much,
to win.
right? I mean,
they've got great coaching.
Yeah, and T.J. Otzelberger has got a lot of work to do still in figuring out, what combination fits which situation, because he's got innumerable combination possibilities with this team. I mean, we can remember not that long ago, Iowa State didn't seem like it had any bench. And now they've got like a bench and a half almost, it seems. Yeah. And guys like Nate Heisey can come in. You could forget that he's on the team, and then he can come in and have the kind of game like he had last night. You're like, how come this guy isn't playing? You got to find more time for this guy to play. Well, but there are all these other guys that need to play too, and they might just be the next guy that steps in and is the star of a game. And they just have that many elements to the team. But yeah, it was an alarming start as that's going on. Now, I knew the final score. I worked last night, was very busy doing a package, but I knew the final score, but as I'm watching the first half, I'm thinking to myself, I bet you a lot of Cyclone fans are watching that and thinking, oh my God, is this game going to end up with the same result as the women's game? Are we going to get swept here in this basketball, this set of basketball games, because we're not playing well? Clearly the Hawkeyes are just totally amped up and they're more ready in their home court. And it looked like that was a very real possibility. I mean, even well into the second half, as you pointed out, it seemed like it was just not Iowa State's night. Now, I mean, you can feel that way and know that your team still has a potential big run in the tank, but sometimes that run just doesn't happen and you lose anyway. And I imagine that there were a lot of Cyclone fans watching that game, and they were getting pessimistic, thinking, okay, this was just not our night.
You look at the statistics at the end of the game, and
man.
it's really interesting. Field goal percentage, both teams shot 44%. Free throw 3-point percentage, both teams shot 39%. Turnovers, both teams had 9 turnovers. Rebounding, Iowa State 46, Iowa 34. So there's a number that jumps out there. But also, Andy,
especially the offensive glass.
Yeah, offensive glass. But Iowa, this looks like a tourney team. I think the Hawkeyes are better than some people think or expected, and they're gonna win some games. They've been, like Peyton Sanford pointed out after the game, Iowa State is really good, and Iowa played all the way down to the end against Michigan and against Iowa State. These are two good teams. Let's hear from both teams now after the game.
It says a lot. It's kind of expected. We got a lot of older guys, played a lot of games, so we kind of seen it all, I say. And this was just another one of those games where, you got to come together and pull it out. Everybody contributed, so I'm happy for everybody.
We kind of were stuck with 6 points. We were down 6 points. It felt like the whole game. And every media timeout, we just said, we'll get it turned around, and eventually we did. And good thing we did that with a couple minutes left.
It says how tough we are. We just continue to make plays after plays, no matter what the refs or crowd or plays are going on around us. Just continue to stay tough and resilient throughout everything.
I think our guys have a lot of pride, a lot of confidence, a lot of togetherness. That showed up for us late when it was, really in the balance and we needed to step up. We've played relatively well against good teams, and they were relentless.
It meant a lot. I mean, I really didn't
feel like we were going to win until like 10 seconds left. I just didn't know with how the shots were going for them, especially in the first half. Felt like every time they pulled up, it was going to go in. So, I mean, it felt amazing.
They're good players, and they stepped up and made shots. You got to give it to them. You know, don't talk about we should have done this and we could have done that. They made shots.
It was a really good game for, 37 minutes, and then they just hit big shots and we didn't, and that's, sometimes what basketball comes down to is just who makes the shots when you need them. We made a bunch of them throughout the game, and so did they, and, props to them, they stepped up.
It's Peyton Sanford at the end, putting it well as Iowa State wins by 9 and covered. 5.5-point favorite. The Cyclones end up covering. It didn't seem like it was going that way for a long time. That's a good win for Iowa State to not always be at your best, be on the road, and have a team with a hot shooting first half and still find a way to win. Again, Cyclones showing just how much potential there is. You can see over in the comments here, the rivalry always makes people's nerves a little raw. Like Luke writes, "Old Hawk Murph can't go through one show without mentioning Caitlin Clark." Context, Murph. Well, Luke, the context is Kurt Jones hit a huge three from the logo. Who comes to mind in Carver Hawkeye Arena for logo threes? That's your context. Yeah. And then Iron Duke 23 says, "Some damn credit, Andy. Shut up."
I don't know which team he's talking about here. But
I think he's saying you need to give more credit to Iowa State, but I'm not sure.
Look,
but nerves get on edge in this rivalry.
If that's, both teams deserve credit in this game, and there's no doubt. And for Iowa State, let's acknowledge this is a hard game to win on the road. It really is.
History has proven that. It was 21-3 going in.
Yeah, this is a hard game. In Iowa State's defense, they've had 3 different coaches since that game in 2014. And I think if Fred Hoiberg had stayed there, he hadn't left right after that game, I don't know that they would have lost a game in this series since then. But, they have got it going right now. And this is a team that is loaded. They have some impressive wins. And this is just one of those wins where, maybe it goes down as a quad 1 win at the end, and that works really well for Iowa State. But just, it's not on paper that this win is going to matter. It's going to matter, just kind of in their own brains. That's a hard place to go and win. This is a series that is a bitter rivalry where you just kind of throw out the records and the usual situations. And, you are playing against a team that wants to beat you more than most of the teams that you will run up against. So to go on the road and win that game, come back, climb out of the hole, and then end up winning it convincingly, that's a really good win.
Iowa State is really good with a big upside. A quickie poll from WCI Pools and Spas.
Of these choices, which CyHawk showdown do you care most about? Is it the football game, the men's basketball game, the wrestling match, or the women's basketball game?
Jeez, early results. I know football is king, but I did not know it would be, especially coming out of the men's and women's basketball games. It's still tracking at 78% for football. I guess we shouldn't be surprised.
This shocks me. It's clearly women's basketball followed by wrestling. I don't know what I've always believed that.
Why'd you happen to pick those two this week, AD?
Those are obviously the 2 biggest sports, 2 most important.
Sure.
Yeah.
Grimaldi's fan photo winner is Corey Schultes. His son Peyton is a Chargers fan, and they went down to the Chiefs-Chargers game last Sunday.
Wow, they did, huh? They walked into that enemy territory and represented. He had the hat on and everything. Good for him.
They'll head to the West Des Moines Grimaldi's with a $50 gift card on us.
We also got a cool picture from Brian Ealings, who won a couple of weeks ago and took his boys into to Grimaldi's this past week. I believe awesome. They went to the West Des Moines location as well.
Yeah, walked out with a haul. Very nice. Thank you, Brian.
I haven't eaten yet today. I would love a slice of Grimaldi's pizza right now, but it's not to be. I thought maybe Bryce was arriving. I can hear the sirens. Iowa wins the women's basketball game. This has happened since we had our last show. It's kind of, Andy, the men's game in reverse. ISU jumps out to the lead, And then Iowa roars back. Lucy Olson leads the way for the Hawkeyes. The transfer is really talented. Audie Crooks had a big game, 30-plus points and 10 rebounds or 11 rebounds for Iowa State. But the Hawkeyes win this 75-69 top 25 matchup.
Yeah, and I think, can I say now that this is a full crowd? This is a full house at Carver
This
Hawkeye?
is sold out, Andy. Sold out crowd.
It's safe to say that. Yeah, you see that packed all the way up there. So that's a great atmosphere.
It was cool even after the game, like Lucy Olson, who, has been at Iowa for a few weeks now or on the team now. You could tell in the post-game interview, she was just like soaking it all in. She's not used to playing in front of an amped full house like that, even at Villanova, even as one of the best players in the country last season. It's cool that Iowa's been able to carry this over post Caitlin Clark and kind of have that great atmosphere at Carver.
I think this is, kind of a sign. There's a lot of season left, but this really looks like Iowa is kind of nation building itself, doesn't it? They had the, incredible Caitlin Clark era. They had Lisa Bluter for a long time, and she won so many games. But, many teams have a great player and a great coach. And when those players leave, when the player leaves, the coach leaves, they fall back to earth. And it's the teams that become, that define themselves as a truly great program that can move on after people like that leave. And I don't know that a lot of people thought that Iowa was going to be one of those teams or one of those programs. First of all, Caitlin Clark is such a generational player. It just doesn't ever seem possible like you're going to fill in for her. And same thing with Lisa Bluter. And in the case of Jan Jensen, she'd been a lifetime assistant coach. So I think the jury was really out on whether or not she was going to be a good head coach. But if they make this jump without Caitlin Clark, without Lisa Bluter, they're still a top basketball team. They could set themselves up more substantially than they had been set up before those two left. Think about that. They have a coach now who very likely has much more longevity ahead of her than Lisa Bluter. It shows that they can move on and bring in other players other than, the generational talent who just happened to be from Iowa and wanted to play in Iowa. Right. That really shows that you've got something with wheels on it if you're Iowa.
It shows the transfer portal can work really effectively, too, going after Lucy Olson and getting Lucy Olson. In part, I think the culture that Iowa has built there in women's basketball, it does just look fun. It looks like the women are having a blast playing basketball together and all of it. It does. It is. You can see where it's a good landing spot now and a chance to continue to build it up. Now, Cyclone fans will mention, and they're right, that they've been filling up Hilton Coliseum and having big crowds and top 25 teams for more than 2 decades now. But there's no doubt that Iowa has now taken it up a notch for the Hawkeyes program and looks to be keeping it going and selling out the entire season post Caitlin Clark. That's really impressive. So a couple of good games this week.
Didn't you think, though, how many people thought, okay, well, yeah, they sold out the season, and that's nice, but, they're going to get to the end of the season with full crowds there?
Yeah, I still am interested to see, like, next year and the year after, like, does the halo keep going? Can they sustain this? We'll find out.
They play like this.
Early signs are good. Early signs are good. Here's Jan Jensen and Bill Fendley after the CyHawk game.
When I would learn, right, is since this group got together in June, they've just really been a joy. And I think every one of them just leaned into this era, right? They were so proud to, be Hawks to the new kids coming, the returners. Everybody held.
Oh, yeah. You can't turn the ball over as much as we did. We made some really, obviously they were very, very, which we knew. We were very physical, defensive team, very good on the ball. Made it hard to cut, made it hard to pass. And like most games, you turn the ball over 21 times. I'd say half of them it's great defense and half of them was bad decision on offense. I mean, there was a couple of them that I don't know if we were colorblind or what for a second, because I don't know where we were throwing the ball, but you got to give them a lot of credit.
It's Bill Fenley giving credit to Iowa for winning again. Iowa has dominated the women's series here the past decade and gets another win at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Also want to send out a thanks to Mark Freund at WHO 13 and Blake Hornstein with Hawkeye headquarters at WHBF for providing video that makes these shows more fun if you're watching. Many people like to watch on YouTube and see the video along with it, so we thank them for their help. And now, here's Foster Brooks and Dean Martin in a sketch that would not air in 2024.
Is it all right if I join you? I just dropped in for a little drink to settle my nerves before I go to work.
What sort of work do you do?
I'm an airline pilot.
Did you ever have any close calls as a pilot?
Oh, yes, sir, especially since they moved the men's room to the back of the plane. You know, there's a lot of pressure being a pilot. You know, at the same time, it's quite a sobering thought and a very inspiring feeling to realize that there are hundreds of people on my plane, all depending on me. And to that, I happen to hold their lives right in the palm of my hand.
A different time, isn't it? His whole character was just drunk. I mean, that was his bit. He was drunk.
What kind of an HR nightmare would Dean Martin be today?
He's out there smoking.
Oh my
He's got
God!
scotch.
Just like the whole thing, just the carousing around. Oh my God! I can't even imagine. That would be so funny to time travel him forward.
Confluence is the official beer of Murph and Andy, has been for a long time, and we appreciate Confluence. Haven't seen any Confluence out here, but gosh, San Diego, there's no shortage of breweries everywhere. My goodness.
No, it's a beer
All
town.
Right. Andy, Bill Belichick takes the North Carolina job. It's surprised, the North Carolina college football job. And the big question, the question everybody's asking is, can Bill Belichick recruit young talent? And I think there's evidence to suggest that he can.
Hey, there's probably more in common there between, picking up chicks and picking up high school recruits than you think. Vertical stripes, Bill. Vertical.
Oh gosh.
Seriously, is that his granddaughter?
That's his girlfriend.
Should be his granddaughter. My God. What does she think when she sees him naked?
I don't know.
Where does she think she is?
She's 24.
She's mature for her age, we're told.
Well, I mean, she's not. She's 24 or she's not.
She's Kane's
That's his
age.
granddaughter.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, he honestly, if he could relate, maybe that'll help.
Yeah, and I think it will.
It'll be interesting. I mean, we've seen a number of examples of great NFL coaches going back and becoming college coaches. The other one that stands out to me is Bill Walsh. He's the guy that gets a lot of comparisons to Belichick. How well did that work for Walsh at Stanford when he went back and took that job again?
I really don't remember.
I think it worked pretty well, but he didn't win any national championships. But,
no. This is going to be interesting.
But that's
I can
a different
understand
era.
why North Carolina would do it, but I think Belichick must have left such a negative impression at the end of his Patriots run there. He just didn't have any success once Tom Brady left. And I don't think the NFL teams must feel like it's not worth the headache to deal with him.
I wonder what it's going to be like for Drake grad Dave Doran at NC State now, as he's competing head to head
with Bill Belichick
in that big state with Bill Belichick.
Oh my gosh,
How do you
it's something.
set yourself apart from him?
Time for Throwdowns on Murph and Andy.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns. Backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Let's throw it down, Murph. Which Big 12 school made a better rehire this week? Is it Central Florida with Scott Frost or West Virginia with Rich Rodriguez?
I think it's West Virginia with Rich Rodriguez. There's just more of an established coaching acumen there. The times Rich Rodriguez hasn't worked, it hasn't been a reflection. There haven't been rumors about his work ethic or anything. Some of the rep that Scott Frost picked up at Nebraska, I hope he has learned from it and will get back to doing the kind of work that he did do successfully at UCF. He does seem like he's humbled by what happened, and I liked what he had to say in his press conference, but I feel like Rich Rod is a more sure thing.
For fun, I'll go the other way and say I think it's Scott Frost. I don't think UCF fans don't care what went wrong at Nebraska. They didn't pay attention to him really after he left. They remember him as the best coach that they ever had at that school. Probably. I don't know much about their history, but I'm going to guess that he is among the most successful that they've had.
He has a championship ring from it.
Yeah, I mean, they remember that. He made that work there. He put them on the map. He didn't get any less famous, less well-known going to Nebraska. I mean, when part of competing in Florida is just being able to stand out among Florida State, Miami. I mean, that's hard. He helps them do that immediately. He has proven that at that school, recruiting there at basically that level, he can make it work. He's got a better situation in the Big 12 now. I think he's pretty well set up.
Andy, Iowa's 2025 football schedule is out. Which game are you most looking forward to seeing?
I mean, I guess the one that stands out is being able to see Oregon. I mean, they could very well be the national champions coming to Kinnick Stadium. And who knows, maybe Iowa gives them a great game. And that's interesting. The other ones we see all the time. I don't know. I mean, being able to see Albany up close, I don't want to sell that short. I mean, that's quite a game. I mean, being able to see, really get, do a B-side deep dive into those East Coast teams like Albany, UMass, Rutgers, being able to see all of them in one season, that's special.
Yeah, it's hard to have anything top the anticipation of the UMass game.
But the Minutemen, I mean, they scream college football prowess.
I'll go Oregon Ducks. It will be surreal to see the Oregon Ducks in whatever uniform combination they choose to wear that day in Kinnick Stadium.
All right, Murph. Chris Williams stepped in some shit last night when he criticized the Red Panda halftime performance. Oh! Murph, are you a fan of Red Panda?
I'm a fan. I mean, I appreciate what Red Panda does. I don't need to see it more than once, but yeah. Flipping bowls up onto your head while riding a unicycle or whatever it is, it's impressive, but I'm not going out of my way to see Red Panda. So does that make me sound like a fan? I guess I'm not really a fan. I'm just somebody who appreciates her unique skill, which apparently is just this. Because there's not other Red Panda bits, right? It's just the bowls to the top of the head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've talked myself out. I'm not really a fan.
Just the bowls to the top of the head. Have you seen how many damn bowls she gets up there?
It's impressive, but I don't need to see it all the time.
I mean, I can't pretend to be a huge fan when I also have to admit that I hear Red Panda and I think you're talking about a restaurant. I I think I've seen her twice, both times here in Des Moines, and it's great. There's some terrible halftime shows, right? I mean, the ones that you don't pay any attention to at all.
Give me the flying dogs.
Red Panda's out there, and flying dogs are good. That Red Panda's out there on that unicycle. My ass is glued to that seat.
All right, that's Throwdowns.
Sponsor shout out of the day, Ramsey Subaru. Ramsey Subaru and BMW of Des Moines are the title sponsors of Murph and Andy, but the special shout out today goes to Ramsey Subaru because it is fast becoming Kahala Fales' favorite hangout.
Yeah, I have to be careful with this because
you better be.
Yeah, right. She's already warned me today, but I mean one of the great things about having a dealership that you like and trust is that really they just kind of fit all needs. If you need a new car, if a family member or friend needs a new car, you can send them there and have faith that they're going to be treated right. But also they've got a service shop that knows your car's history that you can just turn to, and you can be pretty certain that at least in front of your face, they're not going to laugh at you about some of the things that have gone wrong with your car. So I'm just trying to think of we've had a few odd repairs over there at Ramsey Subaru, and God bless them for taking those one at a time. We had an almond that got stuck in the sliding door track of Kahala's minivan, and this is a Toyota minivan too. So normally, I mean, that's kind of a pain because you go to just any other shop, they'll be like, man, you got to take this to the Toyota dealer, or they have to, they send you to the Toyota dealer to get some part, and then they bring you back. Now Ramsey Subaru takes care of all of it. They had to take the door off, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this thing? It only opens halfway. There was an almond. And then the other day, Eddie is getting into the car with his trombone case, told his mom that he had shut the door when he hadn't. She's in a hurry. She backs out. With the door still open, Eddie still has the door open. It catches on one of the support poles inside the garage, bends the thing back. It had a hyperextended door, I guess we could say in sports terms. Took that in, didn't laugh at me at all. Oh, okay, they fixed that thing up, sent it right back.
They laughed at you, just not to your face.
We had an injury to like the gas tank filler door that they fixed. I mean, just weird stuff. We keep all the paperwork. Whoever buys this car next is going to be like, what's wrong with these people? But anyway, yeah, they fix it all there, and that's why we love them.
I can't stall any longer. Ready or not, Scott School.
Scott School, Scott School, Scott School is cool. Yeah.
Today's Scott School is brought to you by the history of the middle finger. So this finger right here that I'm showing, not to be obscene, just to show you, it represents in the Greek and Roman cultures as the penis. So this is what you'd give to people. This is historic. You just give them this and say,
here's the penis.
And that's Scott School.
Scott School, Scott School, Scott School is cool. Yeah.
Scott School is reluctantly presented by Hoodoo. So Hoodoo it.
Yes, Hoodoo, the Odd Job Marketplace is, we're doing so well. Thank you to everybody. Just this holiday season, list all your projects, but I just want to say thank you for everybody who has given us an incredible chance to make all of our dreams come true.
Let's get some more here on Murph and Andy.
But wait, there's more from Either Or Eatery and Patio.
Gotta want to get over to Either Or this weekend and check out their tinsel pop-up situation they have over there where it's all decorated in the beautiful throwback lights, and they've got the new menu. It looks so good right now. You can see it from the street. They just keep adding stuff. Every time I drive by there, it looks a little bit more decorated. Mentioned this early in the show, Murph. You have some bad weather expected tonight. Snow.
Ooh.
Followed by ice. What we got here? This is from the Channel 13 weather scene. This is 4 p.m. Ooh, starting at 4 p.m. The winter weather advisory.
Friday to noon Saturday.
Today?
Yeah, we should be
I know it's
behind
beautiful.
that.
It's blue sky right now. It's really nice, and it's 1:45. Maybe it'll skip us. That would be great.
Yeah, I've seen some canceled events tonight. I know like Urbandale has a sporting event there. They have a hard stop at 7:30 because that's when like kind of freezing rain is supposed to make its way in. But I think tomorrow it's all going to melt because it's going to be warm enough.
Yeah. There are certain things that you want canceled. Like those parents of the Urbandale sporting thing, they're fine with it being canceled right now. You don't want those Christmas parties canceled. This is another big night for like the Santa bar crawl. People jump on those buses, go all around.
We got invited to a Santa bar crawl, but can't do it because
those ain't getting canceled.
Those aren't
ain't
getting canceled.
No, the bus driver will be like, "Oh, the roads are supposed to be pretty bad." The people on board will be like, "Nah, you'll be all right. Just keep it between the lines. You'll be okay, man." Okay, so more weather news. The town of Rumford, Maine, experienced something really unusual this week. Now, we all know to avoid yellow snow, right?
Yes.
Don't eat the yellow snow. Well, this city had brown snow. Not
poop
what you
snow?
think. That's what you think, but
Yeah.
no. Actually, it was caused by a malfunction at a nearby paper mill, which released a byproduct called black liquor, which doesn't
Is this
sound
a new
good.
episode of The Office we haven't heard about?
Maybe.
Released this byproduct called black liquor, which went into the air. The snow coming down picked that up and then hit the ground as brown snow. It was found to be non-toxic, but as you can see, it is very unattractive. So they're obviously hoping for some warmer weather there to melt that snow. Now, there's bad weather, Murph, all over the globe right now. In Ireland right now, the weather has been rough this week. Huge seas, storm surges, really, really bad. Now, in Ireland, it has been worse in the past, or have we forgotten?
Don't make unnecessary journeys. Don't take risks on treacherous roads. And don't swim in the sea. Incredibly, people have been spotted in the water here in Blackrock and Salthill both today and yesterday.
Oh! I didn't see that coming. Oh my gosh. Oh. God, just stopped my heart a little bit.
Don't be swimming in the sea. Ah!
Gosh, Sandra Bernhardt really took one on the chin there.
I heard it was Conor McGregor who threw that stop sign.
Man, I did not see that coming. Gosh.
You haven't seen that before?
No.
That was good.
Had you seen that before, Scott?
No, but I'm glad I did. I will definitely return to that.
Don't take unnecessary journeys.
Don't swim in the sea.
People have been slaughtered.
They're drunk and they're getting pissed and they're going in the sea and they're never coming back.
Man.
Entertainment Weekly drops its best Christmas movies list. All right, Murph, you're a big fan of Entertainment Weekly.
Yep.
Number one, It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
Okay.
I've not seen it yet.
Okay.
I'm just really worried I'm just going to be a ball of crying at the end. And
I
I'm
have not
too sad.
ever watched it all the way through.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, really?
I need to. I know. Even Hassel likes this movie.
Was not a hit when it first came out, and it's surprisingly, it gets pretty dark. It does turn back to happiness and wonder, but he takes a journey. He's suicidal.
Spoiler alert, Murph. Jeez.
Is he drunk?
Oh, sorry. He does go to a bar, and he just doesn't.
He goes to the
feel-
bottle.
Yeah, he just doesn't feel like his life has really been worth much, and that he made much of a difference. And then
he becomes
comes
Santa
to see through
Claus?
his
Is that
friends
what
and
happens?
family how much one person can impact so many. So he ultimately learns that he's had a wonderful life.
Can't stop thinking of the stop sign.
Stop sign. Boom.
A Christmas Story is second. A Charlie Brown Christmas is third. Elf is fourth. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the 1966 cartoon version, not the stupid Jim Carrey one, is after that. Then Love Actually, Bad Santa, The Muppet Christmas Carol, The Year Without a Santa Claus, and number 10 is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. No Home Alone on the list.
What about Christmas shoes?
That's well, no, I think that did become a movie, didn't it?
It did become a movie with Rob Lowe.
That's right.
Really handsome Christmas shoes.
Somebody asked me last week if we were going to make it all the way through the Christmas season without mentioning or playing Christmas Shoes on the podcast. And honestly, I'd forgotten about that song until that heartless bastard brought it up. A Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Laboratory, a 1950s science kit for kids, just went up for auction in Boston.
I remember these.
Okay, you do?
I do.
You're not that old.
Thank you.
Well, I think these were like pretty much taken off the market right away because it is known as the most dangerous toy of all time. It had a real uranium core.
No.
Yes, it was actually radioactive.
Imagine if the Iranians got a hold of one of these.
I mean, honestly, kids used to play, like they would break open thermometers and play with the mercury.
Oh, yeah.
Like they would roll it around, and that's highly
cool.
toxic. There have also been some pretty classic dangerous toys, right, Murph?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, some really dangerous toys. The lawn jarts is the one that jumps out in anyone's mind who was alive in the 70s.
Land on someone's foot.
It was a giant
shoulder.
A giant, foot-long dart that had a sharpened point, and you would throw them in the yard, but of course kids were just throwing them at each other, and then they would end up, right in their skull. The trampoline, as we've mentioned many times, the old school trampoline, really dangerous. The pogo stick. I mean, I have witnessed some major pogo stick accidents, like kids trying to pogo stick on the ice, which sounds so stupid that it doesn't surprise you in the slightest that a kid has tried it.
Right.
Go look at some internet videos with guys jumping off of pogo sticks from the roof.
Oh,
it's a bad idea.
And how about the good old slingshot, too? I mean, Dennis the Menace has got one in his back pocket. I mean, those, and I wanted to, they were called wrist rockets. Like the really good, the hunting slingshots, like anybody really went hunting with those. And they would sell those like lead balls to shoot with them. Oh, those were really dangerous.
Rob points out, Andy, that Dan Aykroyd had a recurring character, something Mainway. Remember that? And he would be like, yeah, this Christmas, all the kids are going to want a bag of glass. And then Jane Curtin would be just like, Mr. Mainway, this is a very dangerous item. You're like, no, look, you take it out, you play with the glass. It's a lot of...
He had the Halloween costume that was called Invisible Pedestrian. It was just all black, and the kid couldn't be seen, so cars were hitting the kid.
Erwin Mainway.
Was he the same guy that did the art also? Like, look at this picture right here. The bag
pull,
of nice
bag of glass.
It's a bag of glass. And then she would be like, Mr. Mainway, this seems really irresponsible. And then Aykroyd would go like, oh, what are you talking about? Like,
what kid doesn't like to play with glass?
I got this tie on, right? And it could come up in my face, and I'm choking on a tie. Anything could be dangerous.
He had that Renaissance era artwork poster that he was selling, that big picture, and he was like, "Oh, look at this! Look at this nude broad right here, and this. Oh, look at this hot nude broad you got here." But here's the kicker: the guy who painted it signed his name down in the corner, and look at what his name is. It's Titian. Titian. This is for real. Hey, guys, remember that time when the Maury Povich show's famous paternity test got really nuts?
When it comes to the matter of baby Jesus, Joseph, you are not the father.
What is that actually from?
I think that was from Christmas
From the Maury
Morning.
Povich show.
The original.
I had never seen that. I haven't seen the stop sign, and I haven't seen Mary sprinting in celebration.
Can we do that one more time? Look at Joseph is so amped up to not be the father of this.
When it comes to the matter of baby Jesus, Joseph, you are not the father.
Oh my gosh, that is all kinds of wrong.
Oh man. He said he was gonna have to raise that baby out of a manger, and he's like, I'm out now.
Hot nerd names are the new hot trend among parents with new babies. Okay?
Hot nerd names?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I have some examples. Dexter, Calvin, Ambrose. People name their kid Ambrose?
Like Stephen F?
Stephen F. Ambrose?
The author?
Famous historian?
Okay. Stephen F. Austin, Stephen F. Ambrose, Steve Austin. That's the $6 million man, right?
Yeah.
All right. Clark, Spencer, Lyle. Ooh, I want Lyle to come back.
I like Lyle.
I can't. I think of Lyle Alzado though.
Lyle, love it.
He was not a nerd.
No.
He was a lot of things, but nerd was not one of them.
And look at
Marshall, Simon, Gideon, Perry, Anson, Adrian. A boy's name.
Adrian?
Yeah. Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Brody?
Yeah. And Desmond. Yeah, I mean, you really just want to kill a person. Say something bad about their baby's name. Because they probably had a hard time settling on that name. And they had a number of them in mind, and
stuck
they
with it
and their spouse just reached kind of an uneasy truce about this name, and they're like, oh, okay, I guess that's the best option, so they pick that out. And then somebody's like, oh God, I heard the other day somebody named their kid Desmond, and then they're like, that's what we just picked. We just named our kid Desmond. Or are you just like Desmond? Wait, you picked Des? Why would you pick Desmond? Oh, that
Howard or
that
Tutu?
person.
Or you go on a rant on, say, the Murph and Andy show, and you talk about how you hate stupid spellings and names because the parents just want it to be like, look how clever I am, as opposed to thinking about what the child's life is going to be like.
Right.
Give them a regular name and then give them a nickname. Nicknames need to come back more than stupid-ass spellings of names.
Or you have the people that give their kid a nickname for their real name. Apparently, one of the hot new girls' names is Betty, which is a nickname for Elizabeth. But
it is?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
You didn't know that? Yeah,
No.
Elizabeth. Elizabeth has a million different nicknames.
The one I never understand is why Jack is a nickname for John.
Yeah,
Because John has 4 letters, 1 syllable. Jack has 4 letters, 1 syllable.
Would you like me to tell you?
No.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Andrew. Can't even see him. No. All right. Today's stupid criminal is Robert Langley of Fall River, Massachusetts. He and his girlfriend, Tanisha Ibe, were visited by police this week who had warrants for their arrest. She ran outside, hopped in a car, and sped off. He decided to play Santa and try to exit the house through the chimney. Well, as you might imagine, that didn't work well. He got stuck, really stuck. When they discovered Langley, hearing his cries inside, they actually had to disassemble the chimney brick by brick to get him out. When they did get him out, they discovered Langley covered in black soot. He was also drunk, and he was arrested on drug possession charges.
Wait, this sounds exactly like the guy who we found in Carroll Can Redemption Center. Same thing, got into the chimney, and when he came out, he was covered in soot, and he was naked because he was playing hide and go seek.
What did he? How did he get into the chimney, from the top or the bottom?
So, being somebody who worked there, you come in through the bottom, and then he was trying to go up. He got stuck playing naked hide and go seek. That's all we know. I think meth was involved.
Oh.
But the photo of the man Still a classic. Covered in soot. Nice
incredible
beard.
photo.
Yeah.
Incredible
Pulitcer
photo.
Prize winner.
So the cops look. They find him by looking up the chimney, and the first thing they see is this blackened bowl of fruit from below.
A second shoot, if we would.
It's called a charred bowl of fruit.
That's your more, everybody.
Oh man, the Birkwood bullseye is.
There it is.
Wait,
There
hang
he
on,
is.
hang on. Here's the photo. That YouTube.
Somebody
give us a
loaned him
thumbs
those
up,
clothes,
please.
though, right?
Yes.
Jeez.
I think the stocking cap was his, so he wasn't totally naked.
That is one of the greatest photos that has
it-
ever been taken in this state.
And it looks like the charred version of Brad Pitt's character in True Romance.
Yeah, it looks like Floyd.
Floyd.
I mean, there's the Pulitzer Prize winning photo of the first responders rescuing the drowning people in the Des Moines River, and then there's this shot.
Who took this? This person needs
This is
credit.
the Carol Herald right here.
Way to go, Carol Herald. Props to the Carol Herald. Support local media.
I know they got that shot. They got
Birkwood
the
bullseye.
shot.
Sorry you have to follow this. It's a tough follow, but you can do it. You have the sound
It's a tough
effect,
follow.
so you can do it. Email us at Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com for a chance at shooting for Birkwood Farms prizes while we broadcast live from the Birkwood Farm shop on Northeast 14th Street in Des Moines next Friday, week from today, December 20th. So just tell us how you'd use Birkwood Farms products to make your holidays better. All contestants will go home with something nice. Now, today's winner is Jason Sweeney. And Jason says he was one of the first customers at Birkwood Farm Store on 14th Street. He has a new smoker and needs some pork to smoke. So congratulations, Jason. We will see you in a week, right?
Yep, 1 week. What? So wait a minute. That was his pitch.
Yeah.
I got a new smoker. I need some pork to smoke.
That was his pitch. Yeah, it worked.
I mean, that's a good pitch. That you
It's
want
not-
to start
there's
him
no
off
BS.
right. You want to start that smoker off right.
It worked.
Seasoned it up.
Yeah. Good move by him. It is time now for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day. AD's all teed up for the AD squared.
Yeah, thanks to Game Day Men's Health. Was there yesterday afternoon watching a little. They have a great little lobby area, watching the Pat McAfee show, hanging out. You can grab a snack or a drink. And then it really takes like a minute for you. I go in, they shoot me up and ask me how I'm doing and send me on my way. So feeling good with that. Go check out Game Day in Ankeny, West Des Moines, North Liberty, and get your free consultation today. It is Friday, so some parental advisory is necessary. None of these bleeps are necessary. It's all innocent conversation, but I have placed bleeps to make you hear things that aren't actually being said. What you hear is on you, not on us. Shout out to the Jimmy Kimmel Show for this idea. It is This Week in Iowa, unnecessary censorship.
We do need to move along, but we would be remiss without mentioning the mind-boggling that Juan Soto just.
If we just all of a sudden whipped out the and everybody was satisfied, first of all, I think that's impossible.
Don't pay $150 to have some guy just come look at it. List it on Hoodoo. Seriously.
I was hoping we would reach a point in this show where Scott would be making a serious pitch while wearing that helmet. Or, you could just be thankful. But then he starts talking about how his wife a lot.
Ooh, I get that.
From the WHO 13 newsroom, we bring you this. A Newton man is facing a slew of charges after police say he tried to officers and instead hit several vehicles in a Walmart parking lot.
I'm just going to tell you, I used to have like a huge It was one of those big yellow ones, and it would move the house. And last year I went and I bought one of the battery ones, and I'm telling you, it's dinky. And it does a better job than that great big thing.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I actually downsized in my opinion, it's easier to use.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Good
That's
job,
fantastic. Hey, AD, could you take me full here for just a second? Can you punch me up full screen? Look who just showed up.
Oh, there he is. Shit just got real.
His working this is the difference between being on live radio and doing whatever the hell you want on a podcast.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. There's Bryce Miller, man. So good to see him. Just showed up here which means we must be at the end, right? Let's get to
that
the
or time
quickie
for
poll.
Guess Whose Birthday.
Yeah. Bryce, can you play Guess Whose Birthday?
He's about to jump
Play
off
Guess
the
Whose
balcony.
Birthday? Nope, he's not interested. So we'll go to the quickie poll results from WCI Pools and Spas.
Oh, I'm going to go get in that spa. I'm going to go get in that hot tub real soon. Oh, so good on your back. With the cold weather, it's even better. Hey, of these choices, which CyHawk showdown do you care most about? According to Andrew, it's wrestling and then women's basketball.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
No, 78% say football. It is shocking that it's that high. 14% men's basketball. I think I picked men's basketball because I feel like those teams have more of a national standing.
Nobody cares. Compared to football,
but look at
a national
these results.
standing.
I just feel like the team the team that wins that game has a better chance of making a national splash than the football. That's probably
the game
not true.
means zero other than emotional. Like, are you going to
What do you
make
mean
the
it means
tournament?
zero?
What do you mean? What do you mean it means
all
zero?
that matters in college basketball is you make the tournament. That's all that matters, and you can do that without this game. You got to go into your conference. You got to do well. That's it. That's all that matters in college basketball. Because a 12 seed can get to the Final Four.
The men's game was played last night. The women's game was played 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Hawkeyes won one of those. Cyclones won the other. And football is still getting 78% of the vote.
Basketball itself is just in a really bad
We
spot.
didn't
as
even
a
mention the other huge in-state rivalry,
Softball?
the big game last night. Drake smoked St. Ambrose
Oh, man. The Bees?
like a Swisher Sweet. I mean, what was the final score of the game? It was 90-35.
Oh, man. Do you
are we
know
doing?
any
St. Ambrose-
alums of St. Ambrose?
I think I know
I
one.
mean, St. Ambrose is like a high school preparatory school, I think, isn't it? Like an
I
all-boys
think-
school.
Isn't it an alternative school for people who are a little slower?
It's a school for special boys.
Yes, that want to
It-
get into broadcasting, I heard.
They got smoked. Drake's going to get a big test, but Drake is 9-0.
That's
9-0.
incredible.
The
With
year
10 new
after
players.
they lost their whole team and their coach.
Whoa.
That's incredible. I mean,
It's really impressive.
yeah, they've
really
got Kansas State coming up. But that's amazing. They're 9-0.
Did you and Hassel, by the way, for those who don't know, Chris Hassel went to St. Ambrose, so that's why we're having
I didn't
fun
know
with
that.
it. Did you and Hassel,
Yeah.
on behalf of your alma maters, was there a lot of smack talk about this
Yeah,
game?
me
You guys
and
get
Dave
into it?
Zavolinsky and Joey Danya, our friend Joey Danya. We are Drake Reds. Yeah, started trying to talk a little smack to Hassel. Hassel, hypersensitive to it though. You know what he went with? You know what card he played? He played the "I make more money than you do" card.
He did?
Yes,
That's a total douche move. And
well, look
speaking
at
of
him today.
douches, those of you who are watching right now, Chris Williams and Chris Hassel today look like the world's worst rap group. Like what does this look?
I mean, they look like
The-
they're trying
Like
not
a
to be
middle-aged
recognized.
boy band fighting for relevancy? What does this look?
Why,
I feel
why
like
does,
they're-
why does Williams need a hat?
Well,
He
he's
doesn't
inside.
have
He
any.
doesn't have
He
hair.
doesn't have. He's inside and he has no hair. What's the point? I mean, if it's not clearly, it's not for decorative purposes. It's a
Nope.
black stocking cap.
And if you notice this, if you look at the screen here, look at Chris Hassel. Hassel is starting to look like the Tiger Hawk logo. Look at the Tiger Hawk logo and then follow over. He's starting to look like the Tiger Hawk.
Now, I mean, he borrowed his wife's sunglasses for that scene, but other than that, yeah, you're right. He does look like the Tiger Hawk. Well, he was in hiding because he had talked so much shit to Cyclone fans yesterday, and
Yeah.
they were like lined up around the block to feed it back to him.
He is a master troll.
I feel like there are some more attractive faces, though, that you can show that are going to be. Oh! Starting Monday, folks.
How's that
we did do
going?
we did do a practice show live for the public yesterday. You can watch it on the Iowa Everywhere YouTube channel. Please subscribe. It wasn't a perfect show. Neither will any of our shows ever be. But we're just going to have fun and Mackenzie is she's a star, man. She's going to be awesome. She's already
great.
is. She already is.
She's one of those people that's so good at social media. I imagine she makes most people just want to give it up.
That's where I'm
She's
at.
so good at it. Yeah, she really also appears to have quite a bit of time on her hands, which I know is difficult to do because she's got, what, three
kids.
small kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And a
Makes
burgeoning career. But
Yeah.
she's willing to give me an hour of her time every week. So we'll see.
I'm looking forward to this.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing it. All right, hey, second show from San Diego. How about that?
That's awesome. That's great.
We love you, Bryce Miller.
We love you, Bryce. Go have a beer with our man, Bryce.
We'll do
Cheers.
it.
Cheers,
Hey.
Bryce. Cheers, Murph. Cheers to the weekend.
Cheers to you guys. Thank you. Thanks for everybody who watched. Thanks for being part of Murph and Andy. Search Iowa everywhere to find us. Please like and subscribe. It helps this local product stay local. We are back Monday. We hope you are too. Have a great weekend.